My name is Mike Nelson. My job, underwater research. The Navy taught me diving, to defend myself underwater, to recognize and handle dangerous explosives. But experience taught me to think fast, when face to face with the unexpected. In 10 years of diving, in sometimes dangerous waters, I've learned that the shark will not attack an underwater swimmer with an air lung, unless perhaps he's in a feeding frenzy. Giant stingrays passed me often without giving me a second look. The seals, the porpoises, the great whales, they're all friendly creatures. There aren't many killer whales. Man is a far more dangerous creature. He invented the air lung for recreation and exploration, but unscrupulous divers have turned it into an implement of crime. This midget sub was built for the Navy, for research and underwater scouting. The same gadget in unfriendly hands could be used for escape or illegal dope traffic. The sea sled was designed for sport, but unscrupulous fishermen use it for smuggling aliens into our country. Our Coast Guard keeps a watchful and protective eye on all offshore activities. But when a Coast Guard cutter or helicopter appears, the sinister forces may disappear and take refuge beyond the 12-mile limit. This is why that I was asked by federal agents to be on the alert and report anything strange that might occur in these waters. When a number of missile experts disappeared, I was asked particularly to scout the waters off Point Flannery under the disguise of another assignment. I didn't know that I would change from the hunter to the hunted. For every practical purpose, I was assisting Dr. Carpenter, whose assignment was to photograph whales from marineland of the Pacific. The sea was rough, but whales don't mind bad weather, and my boat was sturdy. Dr. Carpenter didn't know that my assignment was something other than whales, and more dangerous than the rough sea. The first whale that popped up was a 50-foot cow. She kept in sight for a while and gave Dr. Carpenter a chance to observe her at close range. Whales kept jumping from all directions. I grabbed the camera. Dr. Carpenter was as happy as a kid. Doctor was scanning the horizon. He spotted something. It wasn't a whale. It was a dinghy. And it was heading out to the open sea with 3 passengers. It was strange that such a small craft should take such a risk. We noticed that the name of the boat was the Aquabelle. I switched on the radio for the late weather report, but what we heard was a special bulletin.
Authorities are intensifying their investigation into the disappearance of the guided missile expert, Dr. Ryland Decker.
Turn that up, will you, Mike?
Dr. Decker is the 3rd guided missile expert who has mysteriously disappeared in this area. Navy spokesman made it clear that there is no definite indication of foul play. Dr. Decker is noted for his periodic withdrawals into unannounced seclusion. However, the secret nature of Decker's guided missile work has prompted government agencies to make a thorough search for the missing scientist. Now, from the nation's capital...
What's the matter? That report on Ryder.
Yeah? You know him?
Slightly. I met him last year at a Marine Symposium. I gave a talk on killer whales. He was scheduled to talk on subsurface missiles.
His disappearance, is it serious?
Well, I remember that he disappeared from the conference, too. We finally found him in a park with some boys, umpiring a ball game.
Hey, that figures. I acted uninterested, but I was far from that. We cruised several miles further out, then followed the coastline northward. Suddenly, Carpenter noticed something.
That boat looks familiar to you? The Aquabelle?
The dinghy was empty. We didn't know what was going on underwater. That one of the three men was a prisoner. That his hands were tied, and that his captors had forced him to go below.
Just came up. They're getting into the boat.
I didn't catch any fish.
Going away without the third man.
Oh, you're sure right. There's only two of them. That something was very, very wrong. I changed into my diving gear.
Do you think we should move in a little closer?
No, it might not be safe. We don't want to call attention to ourselves. I got about an hour of air. That ought to give me enough time to do some snooping.
Be careful, Mike.
I went below to find out what had happened to the third man. I was helpless against the strong current around the reef. I was bounced around like a rubber ball. I tried to regain my balance, but I was incapable of fighting the turbulence. The only thing that I could do was to go with it until it subsided. Fighting the current, I used up too much air. And then suddenly I sighted something that I'd never seen below. It was no sunken hull. It looked like a big mushroom made of metal. I wanted to get closer, but I couldn't. I was out of air. All I had time for was to turn on my safety valve and head back toward the boat. Doc helped me attach a fresh tank, the last one aboard. It gave me 30 minutes to inspect that underwater contraption below.
Mike, maybe you should forget all about it. This may be some sort of Navy detecting device, and the third man is the operator for it.
No. If the Navy had anything out here that was secret, they'd be swarming all over us by now. The patrol boats, frogmen, the works.
Whatever it is, it's none of our business.
I'm gonna make another dive. We better get out of here. They might come back.
Mike, listen to me.
You come back and get me in exactly a half an hour.
Mike.
I gotta find out what that thing is down there. I went down again. I approached the mushroom from the other side of the reef. I was right in my calculations. The current was not as strong on the other side. I reached the underwater contraption in a few minutes. And then I saw somebody standing inside. All of a sudden, it hit me. This was an underwater prison. There was an air bubble under that dome. A pocket of captive air that kept the water out by its own pressure. A maximum security prison. He had to stay in there or drown.
You are Ryland Decker, aren't you?
Where are you taking me now?
Take it easy now. We're both on the same side.
I don't believe you.
There's no time to convince you.
You're not one of them?
No.
How'd you find me then?
There's no time to answer questions. I've got to get you out of here before they come back.
They're not coming back.
No?
Their job was finished when they brought me out from offshore.
I don't understand any of this. Why are you down here, you know?
They said something about a seaplane picking me up.
Then this must be some kind of an underwater station.
Uh-huh. They're gonna send divers down for me with a breathing device for me.
And soon. Whoever's masterminding this deal must know that you can't last very long under this dome.
Tell me, you're obviously an expert at this. What would my chances be of reaching the surface without a breathing device? With you helping me?
Reaching the surface wouldn't be any problem. It's whether or not my friend will be back when we get up there.
You're not out here alone?
No. I sent him away when I came down to investigate.
You sent him away?
Yeah. But he ought to be back right now. Let me see. I got an idea how we'll do this. I'm going to go up and take a look. And if he's there, we got it made.
You'll come down again for me? With a breathing device?
Right away. Now you take it easy, huh?
What I didn't tell Dr. Decker was that the breathing device that I planned to bring him was the one that I was wearing. I had no spares in my boat. I hoped that by the time I reached the surface, Dr. Carpenter would be back.
It's an underwater station down there. There's a man in it. Fellow by the name of Decker. He says there's a seaplane that's coming for him. Any minute. Get a line, we'll try and get him out of there. Now, when Decker yanks on this line, you haul him up, but not too fast.
All right.
Got the rest of it straight? After he gets on board?
Get him out of sight, and then go to the Coast Guard station at Bayard's Cove. Why can't I contact the Coast Guard by radio?
Now, I don't want to take a chance. That seaplane might cut into our wavelength. You deliver the message in person.
Me? Why me?
I won't be able to. Decker will explain later.
You didn't bring a breathing device for me.
Yes, I did. This one.
But that's yours.
I won't need it. Here, turn around.
You're going up with that one?
I'm staying here. I'm taking your place.
You can't. They'll kill you.
I'm hoping they won't know what you look like. That they'll think I'm Dr. Decker. You better give me your hood. Don't help disguise me, huh?
But why should you take a chance like this?
Those divers come down here and they don't find anyone. They get back in their seaplane. They could very easily spot our boat from the air. They could overtake us before we got to shore. Now, when you get outside this dome, you yank on this line. Here, put it in your belt. My friend Carpenter will be up there waiting to haul you up. Here. Now, you know how to use this?
Yes, they showed me.
Good. Now, you're gonna be all right.
Thanks. You're a brave man.
I'm just hoping that you get to the Coast Guard in time to save my neck. Here, let me help you here. Good luck. Dr. Carpenter was a good man. I knew that phase 1 of my rescue plan would work out. It did. He got Decker up to the surface in fine shape, and he hauled him in. Phase 2 went into operation next, also without seconds to spare. His job was to get to the Coast Guard before the seaplane arrived.
Phase 3 began, and just in time for me. Decker and I had used up more air on our 2 conversations than I'd realized. I didn't know if I'd be able to last until the supposed rescue team arrived. Each minute that passed made it more likely that I wouldn't. This was the one time in my life that I wanted to be wrong. Suddenly, a Coast Guard cutter appeared on the horizon, and the helicopter above. The seaplane took off in a great hurry, leaving the 2 divers behind. Now I was ready to put Phase 3 into high gear. They expected a helpless old man, but they were a little surprised. When I ripped his intake tube, he had no other choice but to surface. That was 1 down, or I should say up, with 1 more to go. But this second one would be tough, now that I'd lost the element of surprise. I had to think of some other trick. The trick was a simple one. First, I gave away my location by bubbles. Then I sneaked away and cut off my air supply for a minute or 2. As I had hoped, he followed my bubbles and was surprised not to find me behind the rock. While he was looking for me, I got behind him. It was 1 against 1. I had a good chance. We surfaced together. We didn't have to float very long. The Coast Guard was closing in fast. The kidnappers of Dr. Decker had no avenue of escape. I'll be back next week at this same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh? was working offshore, near Santa Barbara, and I was beginning to have fun. Using the scooter was like flying. The scooter was buoyant, driven by a battery-powered propeller, and I controlled it by the two side handles. Speed ranged from 4 to 9 knots, and maneuverability was unlimited. It was designed to make a skin diver's life happy. Some of the local residents caught on, and I was treated to a first-class underwater acrobatic circus. Then a giant manta ray got into the act. Took one look at me and left under full steam. It reminded me I better be about my business too, so I headed for the surface. I broke through the water's surface and gave a small swimmer the scare of his life. He wasn't waiting for explanations, so I followed him into shore. I didn't know then that this little scare would soon turn into heartbreaking terror. I figured I owed them an apology for scaring the boy. I must have looked like I just dropped off a flying saucer to him.
My name's Mike Nelson. Sorry that I scared your boy like that. I didn't expect to come across a swimmer way out there.
Well, that's not much of an excuse for playing with that toy of yours, and near a public beach at that.
I said I was sorry. But you know, swimmers aren't allowed that far out. Especially when that young.
See, darling, I told you it was dangerous. Mr. Nelson, I'm Rena Crane. This is my husband, Dave, my daughter, Karen, and my son, Davy.
Hi, kids.
I can swim there and back, too.
You can, huh? They do that very often? Swim all the way out there and back?
Sure thing. They swim at least a mile every day. These kids can go.
We're going to win the Olympics. At least I am. What do you mean I'm a better swimmer than you are? I'm a boy, and boys can swim better than girls, huh, Dad?
You're both champs. Remember that.
A lot of riptides out there.
I've been training these two since they were a year old. I know all about riptides.
Dave. I'm sorry, Mr. Nelson.
No, he's right. It's none of my business. Well, it's nice meeting you folks. I see you kids in the 1968 Olympics, huh?
Bye.
Bye.
This was a rocky coast, dangerous for anybody. It certainly was no place to let kids play.
Thanks, Wally.
It's quite all right, Mike. I see you met Dave Crane.
Yeah. You know him?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's eating him anyway?
Oh, Dave's not a bad guy. He used to be a kid football whiz. You know, guaranteed to make All-American.
That's so?
Well, he busted a leg his freshman year. He never played again. I guess he figures his kids can make up for what he missed.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's just about it.
Can we go exploring now, Daddy?
Where, darling?
Just up by the point, Mom. There's a bunch of pirate caves there.
And I don't want you to go out there alone.
Nonsense, Rena. You have to teach them self-reliance. You kids can go.
Thanks, Dad.
Great kids, both of them. Champs.
You're pushing them too hard, Dave. They're too little to go out there by themselves.
My kids will be okay.
The kids took off alone, right into strong currents and a rugged, rocky coastline. The area wasn't safe. even for experts. I didn't know whether Dave Crane was stubborn or foolish, or both. Caves are wonderful places for kids, full of excitement and mystery. What these kids didn't realize was that sometimes excitement can lead to danger. Rena Crane was beginning to get nervous. Maybe her husband was raising 2 Olympic athletes, but to her, they were still just children.
I can't see them.
Relax, honey, they'll be back.
Time was passing, and the tides were rising. The kids were too busy to watch their paddleboard or to notice the water coming in.
Look! It's probably from a pirate ship. Probably from an orange crate. Orange crate from a pirate ship! We better be going soon. In a minute, Karen. The water's starting to come in a little. Look at this!
The waves were higher and harder. The paddleboard began to slip, to move. Then the water caught it and washed it out of the cave.
I don't care what you think. I'm going to get the lifeguard. Maybe he can get...
Rena! Now, don't be silly. I'll go after him myself.
Well, hurry then, hurry, will you? I'm really worried.
Now, relax. I'll have him back in 20 minutes.
Hurry.
Now even Dave Crane was worried. But his worry came late. Possibly too late.
Davy! Karen! Kids!
Dave spotted the kids' paddleboard. He looked around frantically. They were nearby. But where?
If you'd have been watching the paddleboard when it floated away. I was digging. That's a fine excuse. Now we have to swim out. Maybe we better wait until someone comes for us. Yes, maybe. It's getting kind of rough.
My husband's been gone for over half an hour. I know something must have happened. The children...
Now, Mrs. Crane, relax. I'm sure Dave found the children right away, and they're just taking their time getting back. But I'll drive out to the point and have a look.
Can't I go with you, please?
Sure. Hop in. You heard?
Yeah.
I didn't want her to know, but last year a party of college kids went exploring in those caves. They got caught by the tide. 3 of them drowned.
No. How soon does the tide turn up at the point?
It turned 10 minutes ago.
I better take my scooter. Come on, give me a hand with this stuff.
Up here.
The kids suddenly began to realize that they were in trouble.
Please, Daddy, please!
We got the scooter loaded and took off. It was 2:45. The tide was coming in, which meant rough water. But with the scooter, I'd be able to do a lot of things that a man swimming couldn't. And I'd do them faster, too. The time was 2:56. The tide was visibly higher. I knew this area pretty well. There were a dozen places two adventurous kids could get to and get into trouble. A few minutes after 3, I spotted Dave Crane. He was sitting on his paddleboard, helplessly looking around for a miracle. I headed for him.
Where'd you find the paddleboard?
Over by that rock.
It must be one of those 4 caves. You stay here in case I need you. I'm gonna take a look.
Don't tell me what to do. I can take care of myself and my kids.
I couldn't talk to him. He was angry and scared. And I made him do something stupid. He dove for the caves. I tried to stop him, but he was still being stubborn. He didn't have enough air, but he went into the first cave. As soon as he entered, a vicious moray eel struck. A jaw like a vice, and 2 rows of needle-sharp teeth. I managed to cut the eel loose, and I started to haul Dave up to the surface. Dave would be okay, but it was 10 after 3. I could feel the force of the incoming tide as time ran out.
Davy, it's still coming in. The sand's all covered. Don't worry. We still have a lot of room left. You climb up there. What about you? I'm Audrey. You're going up there first. Dad told me to take care of you. Now go on.
It was taking me precious time to drag Dave Crane out, even with the lifeguard's help.
Take care of that in your hand now, huh? And you got him.
But Mr. Nelson, the children, where are they?
They gotta be in one of those 4 caves. Now don't worry, Mrs. Crane. I'll find them.
Oh, please, Mr. Nelson.
Believe me, I'll find them.
It was 3:10, and I was just beginning to search for the kids. I knew there were 3 other caves besides the one that we'd been in, but I didn't have the slightest idea which one held the 2 kids. I reached the area of the caves by 3:15. I was moving as fast as I could, and praying that it was fast enough. The kids were being forced up and back on a ledge at the rear of the cave. The water was pouring in, rising relentlessly. When the tide reached its height, the cave would be completely filled, an underwater death trap. not this one. It was too shallow. Only room enough for small fish.
I'm scared. Oh, don't cry. Please, listen. Dad must be looking for us now. He wouldn't let anything happen to us. I guess he wouldn't. Oh, don't cry. Please don't cry. Maybe if we sang a song, they would hear us. I was singing how we've been screaming and they haven't heard us. Yes, but it might make us feel better.
After one look at the second cave, I ruled that one out too. It was full of undisturbed marine life. This was it. The last cave. They had to be in here, or my search was hopeless. It was almost 3:30, almost high tide. I think I was praying as I headed inside.
Too late. I can feel it. Too late.
Don't say that, Mrs. Crane. Mike will get them. He promised and he'll keep his promise.
I surfaced inside the cave, and there still was a surface and air. This had to be the one.
It's Daddy!
Hi, kids!
No, it's Mr. Nelson. Where's my dad?
Well, we've both been looking for you. I was just lucky. I happened to find the right cave first. But if I hadn't, he sure would have.
Yeah, I know that.
All right, now listen, kids. I'm going to have to swim underwater with you in order to get you out of here. You're going to use my diving line, you understand? But I've only got one. I can only take one of you out at a time.
You go first.
He's right, sweetheart. Ladies first. Come on over here now, please. Now listen, darling. Come on. Quickly. That's it, sweetheart. Here. Now you put this mouthpiece in your mouth, huh? Now, suck in and out. Like that. Not too hard. That's fine, sweetheart. That's right. And if you get any water in your mouth, when you get in the water there, you blow hard on like this. Like that, huh? You got it, sweetheart?
Yes.
Okay. Remember now, you can't breathe through your nose, just your mouth. I'll be back by the time you count 150, okay?
Okay.
All right, big boy. We go now. Hold tight. Here we go. Hey!
I had 2 face masks, but only 1 diving lung. Cranes weren't half as scared as I was. The breakers covered up the entrance of the cave, hiding it.
It hurts you so good. Were you afraid?
I knew which cave to head for, but now that race against time, against the deadly tide, was reaching the finishing line. I wasn't sure that Davy could last 150 seconds. I surfaced. I couldn't see Davy. I was frantic.
Hey!
I dove through foam and breaking water. And I got lucky. I caught him around the middle, at the end of the rocky ledge.
Hiya, Davy boy.
I saw a lot of water.
Yeah, I know, sweetheart. Now listen, you remember what to do?
Yes.
All right, what?
Hold my nose, close my eyes, and hold on to you.
That's right here. Now put this in your mouth all the way. You get any water in it? Blow hard, huh? Okay, hold on now. Here we go, hold tight. Here, let's turn around here, boy. Take a hold now. You got me? Real tight. Here we go. Here's a towel for you, son.
Gee, Dad, what happened to your hands?
Huh? Oh, and Eel. Thank God you're all right.
I'm all right. I was only scared a little bit when that big wave filled the cave. Mr. Nelson said if he hadn't found his U-shoe with him, I wasn't as scared. It was just it was so dark down there. What's the matter, Daddy?
Don't worry, Dad. We're okay, and we'll win the Olympics, just like you said, I promise.
Me too.
No more training. Now listen, both of you. We've worked hard enough. You tell me, both of you, what you want to do.
Dave!
Anything. The movies, the circus. Karen, you wanted a bike. And Davy, that model train kit.
No kidding? No, Davy, no kidding. Your dad's not kidding at all.
Listen to that. Those kids are going to be spoiled rotten now.
Crane can afford to go overboard a little, now that he's stopped being a coach and started being a father.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.